Hello, I'm Sarah Steyert, and I'm going to be talking about unethical behavior, answering the question from our discussion board about what factors influence unethical conduct and how it affects performance. I took these 3 items from our homework. I'll just read over them really quick. So number 1, employees face ethical challenges at all levels throughout their careers. So it doesn't matter if they've just started or if they've been in the business for 20, 30, 40 years, they will always face ethical challenges. Number 2, unethical behavior damages relationships. Those can be relationships between coworkers, between managers and subordinates, or even between customers and the company. And number 3, unethical behavior reduces loyalty or contribution. So if you have a company inside of which unethical behavior is frequently occurring, you're going to get a lot less effort from the people who are working there because they understand that unethical behavior is somehow acceptable. So how does unethical behavior affect performance? Ethical lapses can result in corporate corruption, and then corporate corruption can result in destroyed lives. Businesses can be shut down. If the unethical behavior is illegal, people may end up in prison for it. They will certainly lose their jobs. The reputation of the company that they work for and their own reputations will be damaged, and the people who have worked with them, their reputations will also be at stake, regardless of if they were involved in the unethical behavior or not. Unethical behavior is not always illegal. It can just be something that, maybe I do have an example of this. I worked for a company that was in sales, and they had contracts, and when a customer was close to the end of their contract, there was a certain window of time that they were given to cancel their contract by. And if the customer was very close to that window and they asked to view their contract, which would have given them the information of what they needed in order to cancel their contract, this particular company would refuse to send the contract and make up statements about, oh, it's hung up with finance, give us a few days and we'll get it to you, or send long email chains basically asking, oh, what can we do for you? Why do you need to view this? When it was something that the customer was supposed to have access to anyway. That in itself may not sound that dangerous until you realize that this then roped that person into another 1-year contract because they would miss the window inside of which they needed to cancel the contract. And because they weren't aware of that, there was nothing they could do about it. So unethical behavior is not always illegal, but it is still dangerous because you now have a terrible reputation with these customers because they can show, in this particular case, they could show proof that this was an issue that could have been resolved for them. They could have canceled in time had the contract they were supposed to have access to anyway been sent to them earlier. But the company I used to work for always got away with it because they could say, well, you had the contract when you signed it. It's not our fault that we weren't able to get it from our finance department and send it to you in time. This was something that it gave the customers a really bad taste, I guess, about this particular company, and it was unethical in that sense. Legal unethical behavior can still result in lost trust, lost profits, and thereby destroy lives. And so my example kind of ties into that. There was a lot of lost trust amongst the customers, and there were a lot of I can't think of the word, a lot of people who worked there who ended up leaving for that reason. So the company suffered greatly because they did lose a lot of talent for that reason. If things could have gone worse, the company could have been shut down by losing enough customers, and that is something that could always happen to a company as well. So in conclusion, I can't move to the next slide. That's great. I don't know what's happening. So like I was saying, in conclusion, unethical behavior affects performance incredibly negatively. At a minimum, you have people who no longer trust you if you're committing unethical behavior. And possibly, you might lose your company. You might end up in prison even if the unethical behavior is in fact illegal. Thank you so much.